whatever the case it is, and then also make sure that, you're dealing with somebody that's in your best interest, because there are a lot of people that are out there to get your money. And so, don't go to the different credit scammers. Talk to somebody that know what they're doing, that'll teach you how to fix your credit. Don't allow anybody else to just grab hold to your stuff and then say, okay, I'm going to do this and do that and have my way with it. Have somebody that's knowledgeable, like my friend Jason Golden, that can get you some assistance and stuff like that, to making sure that
have somebody you can actually meet in person.
Absolutely.
Because I want to see you face to face.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see you face to face. You dealing with my info, I need to sit down. So if something happens, I know exactly who I'm looking for.
Because your credit is your character.
But no,
That's
but
true.
but
Yeah.
no, but
It's true.
no, but here's the thing. I say that in a joking manner, but you'll trust somebody on the phone who knows where. But then you got somebody local where you just got to make a short drive. Sit down and talk to somebody face to face.
No, I agree.
Absolutely.
Now my delivery may have been wrong, but the premise was correct.
No, you're right.
Now, Jason, what about home prices? We hear that home prices are at all-time high. Is that still true?
It's still true, but they're coming down.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, so the level of the housing, number of houses available now has gone up maybe 0.5, 0.6%, but that's still a difference. Even in Frisco, it's substantially different. I've seen houses drop as much as $100,000.
Amen.
In Frisco, and so on the south side, it's a little bit slower. Houses under 200,000, you're still getting multiple offers. So that's what's driving up the prices. There's not enough houses available. But that's starting to change slowly. We're seeing a trend of it substantially changing, so that now rather than in 2 days you'll have 10 or 15 offers, you may have 2 or 3, which that brings down the price. And I'm starting to see a lot of homes, 175,000 dropping to 160. That's in Arlington, Grand Prairie, in those areas. So they're still a little bit above, but that's not to dissuade people from buying now, because it's partnered with interest rates that are at 4.8, 5.1%, somewhere in that range. And as time progresses, they are scheduled to go up. So even though the houses may be up slightly, interest rates are lower, so you can afford more housing. As interest rates go up, then you have less buying power. So you want to still, I don't want to this way, let me just wait till houses go down. Well, they may, but your interest rates may begin to go up. So then you won't have as much buying power even then. So it's not to say don't buy now. It's still a good opportunity. We're in a position now where we may be able to negotiate a better deal for buyers, saying, hey, your house has been on the market for 30 days, you probably need to sell, right? So that puts us in the power to then get money towards closing costs, like we did with the client I mentioned earlier. We can get the $3,000. You know what? My client really wants your home. Your house has been on the market for 20 plus days. We really want to get this deal, but we need $2,500 in closing costs. Okay, I want to sell, so it's done. So that kind of helps as a negotiation factor when trying to buy a house.
True.
Absolutely. That's good, man.
And then the one thing that people do not realize is that when you are paying your mortgage, once you get in the house, pay that little extra money. Like if you put $100 extra, but you got to make sure on your check, principal only. Pay that little extra $100. That's $1,200 over the course of a year, which is basically, it's more than knocks off a mortgage payment, because it doesn't have interest attached to it as well. So you got little tricks like that.
Well, for us who don't have that extra $100.
I always encourage, if you have any kind of loan out there, to always put an additional $5, $10, $20, $100.
Right.
Always put a little bit more in there.
But Mo, like you said, when they get that tax return,
okay.
when you get that tax return, you can do that, right?
Yes,
you can do that.
You just put $1,500 on as soon as you get your tax return. That's the whole year.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, and don't just do
You
like my
can do
granny.
it principal only.
Or just do like my granny. My granny paid our house off $40 a week. So the thing is that sometimes it's not in our microwavable way of thinking. Sometimes what happens is we forget the basic principles. Is that I just pay it off a week, even though monthly is in your brain, but it's still 7 days in a week. If I give them $2 a day, it add up at the end of the month. And on that note, we're gonna switch gears real quick.
Yes.
You better mash the
Let's
gas.
talk about your poll question.
Yes.
Let's talk about your poll question.
So here we go. The first poll question that I did was, would you date someone who is HIV positive? 100% on the poll said no. Okay. There were no yeses at all. And so I want to get you guys' take on it. You know, I saw with you, Miss Sunshine, because, you know, we were talking about this a little bit yesterday at Jason's
Right.
house when
God,
I was
that was
promoting,
such a
I was
good
promoting the show and I
conversation.
gave out all my business cards. And
I
so-
like how you looked him over when he said that.
So what happens is that, okay, so we have an epidemic called HIV that is a lot more manageable now.
Mhm.
You know, there are people who have HIV, you
And
know,
have been
living
living
healthy lives.
decades.
And as a matter of fact, there are people, you know, in the public eye with HIV, and they're still as attractive as a person who's HIV negative. So
Right.
now I'm gonna have to call bullshit on my poll, because what happens is that I believe that true, if there was a person that, you know, came to you and said that they were HIV positive, but you cared about that person, I'm not saying everybody. I call bullshit to the fact that 100% of people say that they will not.
That's right.
Because
Well,
the thing is that, you know, in your opinion, you may say, I may not do that. But what happens is you give it somebody, you know, that you really, really care about, you know, only thing you have to do is do the precautionary work that you do and learn, you know, because that's just like getting with anybody else that has a disability that can be life-threatening. You know, just take care of yourself, you know, and making sure that you're doing the right things. You know?
I think too, you know, how many of those who were polled have actually been in that situation?
So that's what we need to do.
Because,
yeah.
you know, I myself have not been in that situation. But could my mind change? Maybe. But as of right now, I still have a fear. So it's kind of like, you know, and I'm pretty educated.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a dear friend who has had HIV, like I said, for decades. And he's been living with it and growing and striving. You know, if you looked at him, you wouldn't know.
Has
You-
that stopped
you
him
had-
from getting any play?
No, as
See?
far as, you know, I
See?
had talked to him,
See?
you know, he's,
And it stopped him from
he's
getting
still
no play?
living.
But do you know what you didn't put? Do you know what you forgot to say? Knowingly.
No, I put
Yeah.
no, I didn't. I
Would
said
you date? Would
no,
you
on the
knowingly
poll.
date someone?
But,
See, that's what.
the poll said that, you know, would you date someone if they told you if
Okay.
you were HIV? So you didn't read the poll? Is what you
So,
telling me?
but,
Take the poll.
well,
Take the
no,
poll.
No, I'm asking you to read the poll.
I didn't take it.
but Q, I think what Mo is getting at is the fact that, you know, there are people out there who don't tell their status.
Right.
But that was the question.
Or there are
My
people,
question
I
is,
know, but there are people out there who withhold their
That's
status.
true,
But
but
see,
see,
There's
the
a
thing
lot
is,
of people
no,
that
but
withhold
see,
a lot
I
of
made
information.
my question specific.
But
I did not.
You
I
took the
didn't.
emotion out
But
of
there's
it.
But
too
that-
many
but
liars
that's you.
out there, Q. There are too many liars out there,
Well, see,
Q.
y'all, we can say that, but the thing is, yeah, because
Flat out.
because my thing is if I say to you, Mo, would you date somebody that had cancer? You need to tell me yes or no.
Right.
So I asked a specific question. My thing is, yes, I know that there are liars out there, but we're talking about for people who are honest. And so we're not talking about for somebody that said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna screw you, and then, oh, by the way, I got HIV, and you just did and had your way with me.
Well, you have to understand too. This is an emotional issue with a lot of people.
Right.
And the fact that the poll had how many people answered?
I think it was like 16 people
Yeah.
that answered the poll.
Yeah.
That's not a good poll.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's not a good.
That's not.
And that's not a good
poll.
mix of people
Right.
either.
And the reason it is because it's such an emotional issue that they don't even want to say one way or the other.
So why didn't you take the poll, but you be the first one to tell
But
somebody to vote?
Because it's such an
no,
emotional issue.
No, listen to the no. Bullshit, Mo. Bullshit. Bullshit. No, bullshit. You would not tell me. You would not tell me. You as a voting citizen, and I'm gonna call your ass out. You would not sit here and tell me that you would not take a poll in regards to something or an issue, even if you disagree or say no, I wouldn't even do that. But you wouldn't tell me that you would take a poll on an emotional issue, but you would drive voting into the ground.
Yes.
Bullshit.
Come on,
Because the way we vote affects these treatments. So how the hell you tell me?
This ain't gonna affect the treatments. You know why?
Mo.
Because this is still seen in the black community as a what?
Stigma.
As a white
Voting
man's
is,
disease.
but no. Well, that's fine. But what happens? But the still voting determines this stuff. Is what I'm telling you. And so if you wouldn't tap into these voting issues and stuff like that is once you do HIV, STDs and stuff like that because you got a little girl at home. So my thing is, it's like, why wouldn't you participate in something that's so emotional when voting is just as emotional than this is?
No, I'm just telling you why people all voted one way.
I'm talking about
because of
you.
emotional. Oh, I don't vote on that because I didn't want nobody to see what I was going to say.
But it doesn't show.
He does show too.
Yeah, it
It
does.
shows how you vote. You know,
He
that's.
does?
But see, my thing is
Man.
that that if we're going to be a people, now we opening Pandora's box today, so that's the thing.
What
So
you should have said is, do you know anyone who has HIV?
Mo, that's not the question.
Well, yes, it is.
It's not the question,
No.
no.
I'm not saying, but then you want to lead into it. Do you know anyone who has HIV?
Y'all argue like an old marriage couple.
That's great. It's wonderful.
Because what I want you to do
But she's
is,
wrong.
what I want you to do is, would you date someone knowingly or who told you they had HIV?
What's the difference in what I said at first?
I think that you made a valid point. Do you know someone? Because that personalizes it. So if you knew someone and you knew them as a friend, or if you knew them as a friend, and you then put into context of would I date them potentially? Well, maybe I should. Maybe it will make them think a little bit harder on a particular question. I think.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving along
Thank you,
then.
Jason.
Yeah.
Golden or punch real.
Thank you.
So
Now,
let's
if-
move on to the next one.
If your boo, your current boo thing, had pictures of their ex, would that be an issue with you?
No.
Jason,
No.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
start with you,
know.
Jason. Go ahead.
No.
You know, Paul, I ain't heard your voice all
know,
all day.
right?
Go ahead, talk to me. All I heard is your mic clumping
I
up
know,
against the
clumping.
ball.
Don't purge, y'all see my purge.
You do that.
So if my bae or boo or whomever, I would be okay with it. I would be okay with it because I know who I am as a woman, so it doesn't matter. And I'm probably gonna have a couple of pictures of myself.
A couple.
You know,
Right.
Exactly. You know.
Some text and
A
email.
photo album.
So
That's
I'm
maybe too
okay
much.
with that.
That's too much.
you know what?
You can have a picture, but you don't need.
I still talk about exes.
I talk to my ex, but there's a certain kind of conversation you need to have with them.
Right.
And if you are booed up like, hey, how you, that's a whole other thing.
But see, we not
that's
talking
not
about
okay.
that, though.
No, she just said a couple of texts.
Oh wait, see, I didn't hear that
You-
part.
Yeah. See,
It'll be a problem. Like,
See,
what you
look.
doing with them pictures?
Okay,
Right.
now he just has a different
That's-
opinion.
that's-
so I'm
Here's
listening.
What you doing?
no. My thing is, I honestly keep pictures of my exes for a very specific reason.
What's that, sir?
So I can look, because sometimes your mental takes you somewhere, and then when you see them in person, you have a whole nother